I'll ask him when I'm out there, so you can ask me Friday. What's that?
It works for story.
No, totally, I get it, and I probably would have if we had 2 days. It's been a little hectic these last 24 hours.
Do you think Tart would be back out there?
Yes.
What's your message to the team this week to make sure they carry over the urgency they had last week and don't overlook the Jaguars?
I mean, I said, Jacksonville is pretty easy once you start watching the tape not to overlook them. You talk as a coach, you read the numbers and stuff, but when you watch the tape, they'll see, as they've seen today, this morning, that they're a good team and they're getting a lot better. I don't think that people let down after something like that, but you got to realize the emotions that go into a Monday night game is a little bit bigger, where we were coming from with how bad we had played before that. So the emotions were high, and so you got to watch for that stuff. Your emotions can't be high every single day, but that means we got to practice accordingly every single day and make sure that we're ready to go on Sunday.
Brunskill, I think, faced Donald one-on-one, close to 20 snaps, but not quite. But I realize you weren't running over right guard necessarily, but he seemed to hold his own, if not better, on a lot of those snaps. What did you think of his performance?
I thought he played great. It's no one's going to play perfect, especially versus Aaron, who is probably the best defense player I've ever seen, without a doubt. So he's a tough deal, and anyone who gets him one-on-one struggles. It was good to get him to play in the run a lot, I think, which helps. But he got to, we always try to avoid being the one-on-one, but they make it tough with their fronts and stuff like that. And when Brunskill had to do it, he rose to the occasion, did a hell of a job. And, the 4th and 6th touchdown I thought was the biggest one.
Is it fair to say that Brunskill matches up well with Aaron Donald? It seems he's had success against him in the past, or is that a stretch for anyone?
Yeah, no one matches up well versus Aaron Donald. That's why we like Brunskill. You guys will see some clips throughout the game where he might get beat and it doesn't look good, but for the course of a game, that Brunskill is a very dependable player, and he never, the game's never too big for him. It doesn't matter who he's going against, whether the first time we ever threw him in at tackle and, he had to go, one of the games he had to play the whole game in 19 versus Arizona, did a good job on Chandler, and guard versus Aaron, but Brunskill, he's going to give all he's got no matter who he's playing.
Part of that pass protection is Jimmy's ability to get the ball out fast. Is that his best asset that he brings at the quarterback position? Is he can get rid of that in under 2.5 seconds?
Yeah, it's important that the guys get open that fast too, and but Jimmy's best asset is just looking how he throws. Not many people have the quick twitch and can decide to throw and the ball get out of his hand physically as fast as him. I don't know anyone who can do it faster.
How closely did you evaluate Trevor Lawrence, or was his selection at number 1 such a foregone conclusion that you'd moved on to other guys?
Yeah, I watched it, but not nearly like the other guys. We pretty much knew would have bet a lot of money on when he was going, so we didn't spend much time on it.
What have you seen from him this season?
Oh, we've always seen his talent, and you see it on the tape. And he's getting to play a lot. He's been thrown into a lot of situations, and you can see that him, along with their whole team, is starting to get better and better.
What about Josh Allen in 19? Was it just he was more of an outside linebacker and it didn't really kind of fit your scheme?
No, he fit because we're always, when we're up there, trying to look for pass rushers, and we felt pretty strong about the 2 top ones in the draft with him and the guy we ended up getting, Nick. So we were real high on Josh, but we're a little higher on Nick.
You guys have struggled so much on third downs prior to this week. Were you able to sort of discern why this week you sort of took a step forward in that aspect and were so successful?
Yeah, you've got to go to each play. There's not one answer, but we definitely played our best game on third down versus a team that was pretty good at it too. And guys made some plays. We had a couple good looks, and when we didn't have good looks, we were still able to convert it. I think it was like a 3rd and 7. The one Debo got, they were taking that away, and Jimmy threw it in the tightest window. Debo stepped to it, and we got a big gain. So there was a number of plays like that in the game that guys just performed at a high level. And when we did have the right looks, like on the 4th down and stuff, guys did even better, made a touchdown.
How much did having Jeff on Monday night impact your willingness to go after that 40 rush total?
Having Jeff?
Yeah.
It made it a lot easier. It still would have been the same goal. But it's Jeff, he ran the ball hard. He helped out a lot when he didn't have the ball, which was huge, keeping us out on the field. He converted a 3rd and 2. That kept us out there for a while. But if he wasn't there, we were going to try the same stuff with other guys too.
What happened
what's been happening in that position group that enabled you guys to part ways with Drake or Patrick yesterday?
We've just been one over a corner for a while, and there's only so long you can take it. We usually only have 6 on our roster. I mean 5 up on game day, and so we've just been going extra with the 2 rookies that we have on, and we knew we wouldn't have the luxury of keeping those guys all year. Bringing 2 guys back from IR, some guys more coming back. We knew we had to make that decision sooner or later.
So right now you have 3 openings on the active roster.
I think so.
Will you just do those on
I think we had
Saturday?
2. Yeah, I think we do them on Saturday. We always do them on Saturday before 1. But I know you're trying to get me on the numbers exactly right now, and I've got way too many defenses in my head.
The guys you do that to, will they be active on Sunday?
Hopefully, if they have a good week of practice.
Who are those guys?
Are you talking about Tart and Greenlaw?
Is that,
Their practice window is starting this week, and hopefully that they're good enough to go on Sunday.
so you guys haven't used the practice window, the whole practice window. You guys pretty much have the philosophy that when they're ready to practice, they're ready to play?
No, I mean I think it depends on each guy. Some guys had longer injuries that, and we're trying. I mean, Greenlaw, we've been trying to get back each week for a little bit, but his injury is a lot longer. Or we've had some guys who were, exactly at 2.5, 3 weeks, and you're right there, so you know when they come back, they're fully healthy. Other guys, they got to get back and they got to prove it. Even with Kittle, he had to prove it throughout practice, and that's why we kind of eased him in. Last thing you want to do, and we want Greenlaw back very badly, but we don't want him to go too fast and only get him for 1 game.
With how well Aziz has played, is it going to be tough for Greenlaw to unseat him back at that will position?
I mean, we'll see. I mean, Greenlaw's played at extremely high level too. I think Greenlaw's done a hell of a job in his career here for us. He's just getting back into practice for the first time in a while, so I do think it would be hard to unseat Aziz right away, just because of what Aziz has done. He's played at a high level, and I think that'll take Greenlaw a while to have the chance to pass him up again.
Have you ever seen a number 1 wide receiver who can also play running back as well as Deebo Samuel?
I haven't had one. I think there's, no, I haven't. I thought Percy Harvin had a chance like that, and I've seen Cordell Patterson. They did Tavon Austin a little bit over the years, but Deebo's been pretty special at it.
There's a lot of examples of running backs who can play a little receiver. What does it do for an offense to have a receiver who can play running back?
Just the threat in different matchups. I mean, everything's personnel driven and who the matchups are, and it's the same thing with how big of a deal it is having a fullback who can also go out there and play outside of the box, like we have with Juice. And then when you have receivers who can go back to running back, and also receivers who don't mind doing some stuff that a fullback would do. Especially if you're playing a receiver and you use him as a fullback, you might be going against a nickel as opposed to a linebacker. So there's all those different matchups you can do, and when you have willing guys who have the ability to do it, but they're also physical enough to do it, it just helps you come up with a lot of things to put players in positions to make it easier for them.
You can see from the outside that having to do all that stuff would add a lot to his mental load too. How have you seen him grow and handle that as you kind of added more and more to his play?
Deebo?
Yeah,
Debo's one of the most natural players I've been around. He's very smart. He's very perceptive. I think he's extremely socially aware. He kind of has an idea of how everyone is, and things aren't that hard to him. I think what Debo's gotten better at is sometimes when you have a tendency for things not to be hard, you don't always go through every single little thing. And I think he's done a much better job of going through the little things, so he can be closer to perfect than not.
Was there a point where you saw that shift in him?
Yeah, I think it helped a ton for him when Emmanuel came here. That's when I saw the biggest. I mean, Deebo was one of the guys we were counting on a lot as a rookie, and I think when Emmanuel got here, he really saw a true pro and how, not just how he prepared, but how he attacked practice every day. And, Emmanuel only knew one way. Like, he went as hard as he could all the time, and if he couldn't, you had to protect him from himself. And I think that was really cool for Deebo to get his C. I think that's why they clicked so much. And then coming back into his second year, I know how hard he was preparing to not have a sophomore slump. And then he had those injuries, which kind of made it inevitable. And to watch the frustration he had all year, that, you could tell he was very hungry coming into this year.
What do you and Bobby Turner need to see from Trey Sermon for him to start getting into the game more, the offense more than he has?
Yeah, I think, you guys asked that a lot, and right now it's nothing against Trey. Trey had an opportunity when guys got hurt, and I thought he got better in each game with that. But he didn't do enough for us to put him ahead of Elijah or Jeff. And so it's pretty much as simple as that. Like if Jeff wasn't out there or Elijah wasn't, he would have taken one of those two's roles. When it came to our third downs, we always, started out with Raheem, then it went to Hasty, and now we've gone with Juice. Not always wanted to put a rookie in a third down role. So he had an opportunity when there was injuries, but those guys have come back, and we still have those guys ahead of them.
What is it that you look for in a third down back? What are the qualities that you want in a third down back?
You got to be able to have the capability to block. It starts with that. If not, you're just another receiver out there who can't block. But so you got to be able to do that, and after that, you want someone who can beat man coverage.
Go ahead, Howard.
Good.
Thank you, guys. Jimmy Ward mentioned this morning at an interview that there was a defensive captains that called the captains for the defense called a meeting the night before at the hotel. How important is it for captains to step up, especially now with the situations that are happening during the season? And did you talk to the captains at all? Did you know about that meeting?
No, I didn't, because I only knew because it took about a minute longer than usual. We always have an offensive meeting, a defensive meeting that lasts like 8 minutes long, and then we review a couple things, and I sit in there, and they all come in together, and I do a 10-minute team meeting. So it just took them a minute longer than usual, and I haven't even asked anybody about it. It's probably because I'm 24 hours behind on a few things. But I think it's great. I've seen those that they're bad. I've seen them when they're good. I really don't know what was said or care much because I like the result. I think it's always great when players hold each other accountable. And it's not the way that people want it to see. When they see someone grabbing someone by their face mask or yelling at someone on the sidelines, that's usually just for other people. You want people who genuinely want to win and do it the right way. And when you have players who are around each other all the time, and it goes a lot more than the coaches if those guys can get other people to pick each other up.
The run score question. I don't mean to imply he physically dominated Aaron Donald, but there was one play that 8-yard run on the first drive that Lebo had in the red zone where he did basically dominate Donald and threw him down. Did you note that, or have others note that and said, "You're awesome, Preston"?
I wouldn't use the word dominate. I'm not trying to poke the bear too much. But yeah, he did, I thought he did as good as he could, which is as good as I've seen anybody do. Aaron is a different dude, so it was a huge challenge, and those guys did as good as they could with him.
With Tart coming back, does he automatically become the starter? And what's your kind of feeling about the position that Hufanga has put himself in to make a contribution to strength back there?
I like Huff a lot. I think he's played well. Tart doesn't automatically get the starting position. We're not sitting here trying to replace Tart either. I think Tart's played at a high level for us for a number of years, can do a bunch of things. But even before he got hurt, we were trying to get Huff in there too because of what Huff's brought to the table. But we'll see how the week goes this week. I got to see where Tart's at, but I expect them both to play if Tart's healthy.
What does he bring to the table?
Huff?
Yes.
I just like how he doesn't hesitate in anything. He looks like, I was just saying today in the team meeting that when he makes a play like he did on that 3rd and 4 when they tried to run that pick route and he met him, it looks like he's not just thinking about that on game day. It looks like he decides on Wednesday how he's going to play. You can see it in everything he does, and there's just no hesitation in his game, and that's what I want to see, 11 guys out there not hesitating and flying around.
All right, appreciate it, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Doing well. Thank you. Go ahead, guys.
Did you tell DJ Jones exactly what to expect on that play?
First of all, DJ made a heck of a play on that play, and he deserves a ton of credit on that play. It's nothing really that I have to tell anybody. It's just what the players do in terms of their study habits, what they do in terms of what the call is. We have a call in our system that allows DJ to drop out of there. But what's really cool about that play is everyone was on top of their assignments. You see Flanagan cover the guy that went out, and that was a unscouted look. I mean, they haven't shown that one before, but for the guys to be on top of their rules and for those guys to play the call that was within the system is excellent. And Huff actually forcing the holder there, Johnny, to have to throw that ball and rush him that was a really great play by Huff, having the sense and just the awareness to come out of the rush there and redirect just like he's supposed to do. And then DJ did a phenomenal job tracking the receiver in the open field and making just a phenomenal play by that big man with those good feet and going to attack. And he's a fun guy to coach, man. He's a joy, and everything and anything he does, he's always really into it, whether it's field goal protection, whether it's defense stay, whether it's field goal block. That kid is a delight to coach, and he's always got a great attitude, and the guys in the locker room really love him. So the sideline and everybody was really happy for DJ, and that's a huge play for him to help our football team before the half to make sure that those guys don't get any points there, and we go in with the momentum. It was a good play for our football team.
You guys called timeout right before that play. It's from the outside, it looked like why are they stopping the clock? There's not going to be much time to get the ball back. Was there a impetus of like, hey, watch out for a fake here in that timeout, or was that part of that conversation?
No, not really. You had to ask Coach on the timeout on that one. We didn't ask specifically for that. That's coaches probably feel for something that he had there, which was excellent though, because we did have a chance to say some things to Ambry, who relayed that. But those guys know that. I mean, all week we kind of been talking about that, and I mean, they're actually telling us as coaches, they're telling us about it before it happens. They're like, hey, we're watching the fake, so they already knew what situation we were in, and when the players take it over that way and have listened in meetings and they take over, then things like that happen. So yeah, they were on it before we were getting ready to tell them as a coach.
Richard, you have said you love Trenton Cannon, even when Trenton Cannon had a very bad game. But Trenton Cannon is now having very good games again. How is he? I guess what do you make of how he has responded to that adversity, and how well do you think he's playing?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. It's a really good question, E, because a lot of people wanted to do away with Trenton Cannon. But we look at tape and we look at ability, and sometimes you have a better feel for a person and for a guy. And for him to fight through what he's fought through resiliently shows you what kind of guys John and Kyle can find. And AP and those guys, a guy that plays with tenacity, a guy that plays with heart, a guy that lays everything on the line. The guy almost had 3 tackles. He had 2 tackles and an assist in a Monday night game and played phenomenal. And he's top in the NFL in tackles. He's a gunner and kickoff. He's phenomenal and probably should be up in some Pro Bowl talks, the type of football he's playing right now. And that's why you don't give up on people. That's why I always pull for guys that do things the right way. Yeah, they'll make mistakes. We all make mistakes. It's our job to get that corrected as coaches, but it's also our job to be behind players if you think that they can help you win. And that guy definitely has helped us win. And I couldn't be more proud of him and more proud of the way he's responded. But again, it's a new week, and every week's week to week. So he's got to do it again. And we need other guys to come along and do it. And our guys are getting better. That's the thing that I like. Our guys are getting better. And we got a huge challenge this week in Jamal Agnew. All right, he has had 8 career touchdowns on special teams. He is a phenomenal returner. Was drafted by my mentor, guys. I told you about Joe Marciano. He loved him as a returner. He had him in Detroit. Had So he is a good player, and we got our work cut out for us. And we're excited about going against him because we want to play the best, and he is definitely one of the best.
Good? Thanks, Coach.
Good? All right, guys. Thank you, guys.
very emotional and needed win, but now you got like a short week and a cross-country trip and, you know, all this stuff. You deal with it. Are you cognizant of, you know, some of those factors and not having a letdown?
Yeah, I mean, we're past this past game. We're on to the Jaguars, and our full focus is on that. It's also on, you know, like you talked about, a short week, getting our bodies back right. I think Kyle is going to do a great job of you know, arranging practice so that we're getting our bodies right, being able to fly around on Sunday. But it's up to us to really get our bodies right and make sure that we're good to go.
Along those lines, I think you guys played 55 snaps against the Rams, which is a lower amount. I mean, can you feel that? I mean, if it's you know the difference body-wise between a 75 snap game and a 55 snap game?
You know, I guess it all just depends on how the game goes. I feel like, you know, me and Aziz were flying around. I mean, the entire defense as a whole, but this is one of those games where me and Aziz's neck probably hurt a little more because we had to get in there and make some big boy tackles. But, I mean, that's every game. I think the snap count doesn't really matter. If you're really going all out, you should feel sore after the game. You should give it, you know, you shouldn't have anything left after the game, and now it's time to really just recover and get the body right.
If you look at across the field at the number 1 overall pick, and guys had some growing pains, but he's started every game. I'm just curious what you're seeing on film from him.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the talent jumps off the tape. You understand why he's the number 1 overall pick. I'm eager to see how tall he is in person because, I mean, he moves really well. I mean, they say he's like 6'5", 6'6", and he moves like a smaller guy. So he's not easy to get down. I know that. He's pretty quick, but the arm talent is there. You know, they want to get him in position to make decisive throws, get him going early, and that run game is what allows him to have success.
How do you describe Jimmy Ward's leadership style as a captain, and how important of a leader is he this season?
Huge. You know, that's why he has that C on his chest. You know, none of us take that lightly, and I think he's one of the best leaders by example. And when his voice is used, everybody knows that it means something. You know, he's just real as they come. He never has to force anything. You know, whatever he feels, he's gonna bring it. And you know, love having him as one of our leaders.
I know this isn't easy to put your finger on why, but when you guys have the kind of performance you had on Monday, it hasn't always been that way throughout this season. You guys look like the team probably everybody expected at the beginning of the year. What are some of the intangibles that make that possible in a long season?
You know, I think that was one of the first times we played a complete team, you know, ball game, and that's why the score showed that against a good team. You know, the defense, we were finally able to kind of take the ball away multiple times, score with the ball. The offense, they did exactly what they wanted to do. They wanted to run the ball, I think, over 30 times, 40 times maybe, and we did that. Special teams got after them as well. So it was a full team effort, and we're looking to do that again this week.
So I mean, to have Greenlaw back at practice and possibly available.
It means the world. You know, that's my guy. That's all of our guy. You know, he's one of the playmakers of this defense and a huge part of what we do. So having him back is exciting.
Fred, you've talked in the past about eliminating the leaky yards, the guys falling for 2 or 3 extra yards. I'm curious, Elijah Mitchell, I know you don't play against him in games, but he seems to have a knack for doing that. What is it about a guy like that maybe allows them to do that, and how frustrating can it be as a defender trying to?
Yeah, I mean, Kyle talks about it all the time when he kind of shows us, you know, tape from the offense of that past game. And Elijah just, I mean, continuing to get better week in and week out. He's been outstanding for us all year. And he has that, like you said, like that intangible, that knack for just running his feet through contact, running through arm tackles, finishing forward. And not all guys do that, you know. So that's why going against a guy like that is tough for a defense, and I'm glad he's on our side.
Jimmy said you were sort of hyping him up for those interceptions. He'd been waiting a while for one. What was your reaction to that, just seeing him after, I think, 5 years finally get one?
Yeah, I think I talked about it after the game, just like we had talked about it. I forget when. I think it was that Chicago game, just because I saw the highlight clip of him getting that pick six, and I was like, man, it's been a while, huh? He's like, yeah, you know, but it's gonna come. Just the way that he is, and you know, I was so happy for him that, you know, sometimes it just take getting that one or two in the bag, and then they just start coming.
How do you think you're playing this year?
How do I think I'm playing? I can give a very detailed answer. I can go on and on about that. I think just the short answer is I can be better, and I always look back to, are you getting better or are you getting worse? And last year, I was playing at a high level, obviously all Pro Bowl. Am I doing that right this second? I wouldn't say so. I'd say we have 8 games left that I can prove that I can be a better player for this team, for myself. So yeah, I'm looking forward to just putting my head down, grinding these last 8 games.
Why? Maybe you might not be playing at that same level.
I don't have a direct answer for you. It's one of the most frustrating things in the world, because you think that you're putting in more work, you're being more detailed in what you do, and for some reason the results just don't show up for you. And that's just what it's been. And not that I'm putting that work out there. I'm doing what I think I need to be doing, and it comes together. I know it's going to come together. I feel like I still continue to play my style, and put good things on the table. I just got to, dial in on the details and shoot. When in doubt, you just got to go harder, work harder.
Is this the first for you in your football life career? Have you gone through anything like this before?
I mean,
Doing everything right, and it's just not.
yeah. I mean, I feel like every person, every player goes through hard things in their career and life. I feel like this is for sure one of the hardest things I'm going through right now. But at the same time, I always look at how blessed I am to play this game. Every time I am able to walk off that field after every game, that's a blessing in itself. And so just having the ability to go out and practice and get better every week, that's something that I look forward to every single day. So like I said, today is another one of those opportunities.
The contract, I mean, have you felt like the contract, like I have to show that I'm worth this? I mean, I know you can't really measure that or anything, but have you felt that pressure?
Early on, I feel like I probably did too much. It's funny because you don't think about before you get a contract, you're not really, or at least I wasn't worried. I've never worried about the money or trying to. Obviously, that's the goal, is to try and take care of your family and get that part of your career, that achievement. But that was not any part of my even thought process and anything. So going in this year, it was kind of a little piece of it in the back of my mind, like, okay, well, I got to show up, I got to show out, I got to do more, I got to do this, do that, and so probably hindered me a little bit, but I'm past it. I'm looking to just get better as a player. That's it.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
had the fastest release of any quarterback this past weekend. It's kind of been something you're trademarking your career. Has that gotten better over time, and how helpful is that to you as a quarterback?
Yeah, I think just, going against the front we were going against, it was definitely part of the game plan. Just get the ball out on time, help the O-line out. And, yeah, I think we did a good job of that. I think it starts with the game plan and then goes to us executing it.
At some point during the game, your running back broke his finger. Were you guys aware of that, and what does that say to the rookie's toughness that he's able to kind of play through some of these injuries?
Honestly, I had no idea until I heard after the game. But, yeah, Elijah, it's not the first time he's played with an injury. This guy, he's a battler. Knew it from the first play he got in Detroit. I can remember seeing him in the huddle. It was different. And for him to battle the way he has through injuries, and all the guys are dealing with stuff, but he's done a good job of that stuff. It's impressive.
About that first play in Detroit, is it the eyes that you're looking at? Is it focused?
Yeah, a little bit of everything. You kind of just get a feel for someone. I mean, when you're in the huddle with them, you're looking in their eyes. Is the moment too big for them? It reminded me of Hasty, honestly, last year. Hasty came in, and his first play was ready to roll, and it was like, all right, this guy, he's made the right stuff, and Elijah was the same way.
Yeah, I think the last 3 weeks you haven't thrown a single play action pass from under center. Everything's been in shotgun. Is that an adjustment you guys have consciously made, and how much maybe does that help you over the last few weeks?
I think it helps us. I think, obviously our play action from under center has been good in the past too, so it's kind of a pick your poison, I guess, with defenses. It's a week-to-week thing, though. It really is, because we've done both of them in the past. And it's just kind of what's the hot hand lately. And so the way we've been running the ball, I mean, I could see us going back to the other way or sticking with the shotgun either way.
Is there more of a comfort level for you doing that, just that you don't have to take your eyes off the defense?
I guess, yeah. I think any quarterback naturally is more comfortable in the gun. Just you're away from the D-line and everything. But, yeah, I've done both ways, so I'm pretty comfortable with both.
Do you notice it's easier for you to get in a rhythm, and maybe are those windows a little bit bigger when the running game is as effective as it was on Monday?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely makes everything easier. Whenever you could get into a rhythm like that, that opening drive really kind of set up the rest of the game for us, just the way we ran the ball, and they had to make some adjustments to if they wanted to stop it, and we just played off of that.
Why do you think you're able to execute so well on third downs? And, that's been one of the main issues in the past few weeks.
It could be a number of reasons. I think we had a good plan going into it, but I think guys I said it last week, the week of practice was different. Just guys locked in, little details here and there, and that's what third down and red zone really come down to, is how detailed are you in those little things, and can you make the play when you need to.
When you're looking at the Jaguars film, how much does Josh Allen show up on tape?
A lot, especially these last 2 weeks. He's a hell of a player, man. He really is. They got a lot of speed on that defense from sideline to sideline, but just, Josh, I mean, he's impressive. You saw what he did in the Buffalo game and did against the Colts too, so he'll be a challenge for us.
Jimmy Brunskill was matched 1-on-1 with Aaron Donald, close to 20 snaps and held his own. What did you make of that performance by him?
It's the Dan we expect, man. He's done it in the past. I don't know, Dan the whole line played phenomenal, but Dan, he played great in those, when you get put in a one-on-one like that, it's a tough situation for anybody, and for him to step up like he did, I mean, there was the fourth down play, he was one-on-one with them, just crucial situations. That's what I was trying to say on third downs. When those moments come up and your number's called, can you answer the bell? And, O-line doesn't always get that much credit, but those guys are answering the bell every single play.
On the first drive, there was an 8-yard run by Debo in the red zone, and Dan Brunskill threw Aaron Donald to the ground. Did you notice that, and has anyone said anything to Dan Brunskill about throwing Aaron Donald around?
Yeah. We got to be careful giving Dan too much. No, I'm kidding. No, Dan played his ass off, man. He really did. Those things you don't really notice till you're watching the film either. Just, how guys are handling them. You could feel it on the field, but you don't know the detail of it. And, yeah, I mean, he balled out, man. He really did.
You said this last week of practice was different, given that, it's not going to be the same emotional team. You're facing a 2-6 team going on the road. How do you recreate that and make sure the standard doesn't drop?
Just the leaders on the team. I think it starts with us, whether it's walkthrough, practice, whatever it is, we got to come with the right mindset, and I think it trickles down to everyone else. These short weeks happen quick, so we're right back to it today, and just got to go in with the right mindset. I think that's where it starts.
A couple more. What's your best? You had a terrific game against the Rams. I'm not trying to nitpick you. There was one play in the third quarter that Kyle seemed he called a shot deep for Trent Sherfield and you didn't throw it. Looked like he was open. I'm just curious, after watching the film, why didn't you throw it?
It was, yeah, I mean, that was definitely a shot play. Just, when I was rolling out, I forget who they were pinning, the DN that they were pinning. I felt him, kind of making a move, and I don't know, just at that time of the game, yeah, it's a touchy subject, I guess you could say. I don't know, you want to take the big shot, but at the same time, you don't want to make a stupid play, get strip sack, something like that. It's just the feel of the game, I guess. Yeah, looking back, I wish I would have thrown it, but it is what it is. Say it again, sorry.
What's your best memory from Christmas Eve 2017, last time?
Oh, jeez. That was a great time. Seems like forever ago, honestly. Just different team. I don't know. I could remember George scoring a touchdown, Breedis scoring the touchdown to seal the game at the end there. It was a fun day. Hopefully we could recreate that this Sunday.
The mental shift of Debo to make the strides that he's made, where do you think that happened, or when did you see that change in him?
Sometime in training camp. I can't remember a specific, day, but in training camp there was sort of a lull in our receiver room of just like, who the leader is, and we didn't really have a vocal leader. And I can remember Debo just kind of, Debo's not the most vocal guy in the world, but he leads by example. And in one-on-ones, he would always go first. He would step up first, kind of set the tone for everybody, make big plays, get guys excited. And that's really when he started to, I mean, he's always been phenomenal, don't get me wrong, but that's when he started to open up and really become a leader of that room.
We'll keep talking about Debo. How valuable is it to have someone who you can trust in a variety of different situations?
I think it's invaluable. It really is. I trust all those guys, though, and I think that comes from just the reps and being with someone. I mean, me and Debo have played a lot of football together, and so there was a couple broken plays in that game where we made eye contact, and I was like, "Go that way, man!" He did it, and it was just being on the same page with one another, I think, and he did a good job of that stuff.
Kyle has said Jeff Wilson Jr. is somebody who's very well liked in the locker room, and guys sort of rally around him. What is it about him that lends to that?
Just his attitude, man. His attitude, his vibe. He's fun to be around, but he's not fake about it though. He's just being himself. And I mean, I can remember coming in at halftime from this game. We were up big. Guys want to sort of relax a little bit, and Jeff was as fired up as anyone, saying we got to, start the engine over, get things going again. And it's just little things like that go a long way with guys.
Thank you, Jimmy.
All right, thanks, guys.